Hello friends, and welcome to a brand new camera comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S25 against the iPhone 16. Right now we are recording at 4K at 30 frames per second. Tell me in the comment section below which one do you think has better colors and which one has a better audio.
As is tradition on our channel, let's begin with some samples taken with their main cameras. But first, let me clarify the testing process. Each daylight picture was taken in auto mode, with only the scene optimizer enabled on the S25 and no edits applied afterward. As always, there are some differences, so let me break them down. The first thing that caught my eye is the difference in color tone. The new S25 usually captures photos with cooler tones, while the iPhone 16 tends to produce images with a warm hue. In this sample, I lean more toward the iPhone. In other cases, like this one, my opinion changes, and I prefer the S25. The iPhone still has warmer colors, but as you can see, the buildings aren't as visible as they are on the S25. The new Galaxy phones seem to highlight shadow areas better compared to the iPhone 16. For instance, the tree in the S25's photo retains its natural green color, and all of its branches are well separated. On the iPhone 16, the same tree appears much darker and less refined. As always, Samsung tends to produce vivid pictures with plenty of detail and superb dynamic range. The iPhone 16, on the other hand, follows a different approach, delivering more natural-looking shots. Personal preference plays a big role, and in this case, I like the S25. A similar pattern emerges when we switch to their ultra-wide cameras. The picture taken with the S25 remains much more vivid compared to the one captured with the iPhone 16. In this sample, however, I noticed that some of the clouds appear slightly overexposed on the S25. Just like with the main cameras, the S25 brightens darker areas more effectively, though the difference is less pronounced here. Still, I prefer the photo taken with the Galaxy. I observed that when the sky is clear, as in the previous sample, the S25 produces much better colors. But when clouds block the sunlight, as in this case, the warmer tones of the iPhone 16 become more visually pleasing. When greenery is part of the scene, Samsung's approach of enhancing visibility works well. The iPhone's picture looks dull in comparison, even though it leans more toward natural tones. When people are in the frame, Samsung's photos continue to be brighter. For example, in this shot on the S25, my face is better highlighted, my hair is more distinct, and my clothes appear sharper. The iPhone's photo looks great too, and if you prefer slightly darker images, it might be the better choice for you. Now let's test their zoom capabilities. At 2x, both devices rely on their main cameras. At this zoom range, both produce very sharp images, thanks to their excellent sensors. Aside from the obvious difference in color tone, the S25 appears slightly sharper to my eyes. At 3x, the Galaxy S25 switches to its telephoto sensor, while the iPhone 16 continues to use digital zoom. As expected, my face is noticeably sharper in the image taken with the S25. The iPhone 16 starts to lose detail, and my face takes on a yellow tint, which I find unappealing. In another example, at 2x, both devices once again perform very well. Their photos retain plenty of detail, with the S25 displaying slightly boosted contrast. For the most part, though, they are quite similar. At 3x, the Galaxy S25 remains sharper than the iPhone 16. While the iPhone's result is decent on its own, it's clear that digital zoom struggles to match the quality of optical zoom. When taking portrait shots, we can see that the processing mirrors what we observed in their regular photos. On the S25, my face has a cooler tone, while the iPhone 16 continues with its warmer color profile. In reality, my skin tone falls somewhere in between, so there isn't a clear winner in this regard. The results shift in the next sample. As you can see, the S25 was able to highlight me better than the iPhone 16, which sometimes struggles when the background is too bright. My face, hair, and even my coat are much better highlighted in the S25's image. In scenes without a bright background, the iPhone recovers significantly and not only matches the S25 but even surpasses it in some aspects. In this case, I prefer how I look in the iPhone's photo, as my coat is well preserved. On the other hand, the S25 delivers a more appealing background. They do a great job even when it comes to their front cameras, but just like with the previous lenses, there are some differences here too. First of all, my skin color is a bit more accurate on the iPhone 16, but the difference this year isn't as noticeable as in previous years. Samsung has made significant improvements at this category, and even though it isn't at the level out of the iPhone, it is a big step in the right direction. In terms of details, they are pretty much identical since both are able to preserve my facial details very well. When it comes to video recording, iPhones have traditionally led the way compared to Android competitors, but this advantage isn't as pronounced this year. While the sky still looks slightly better on the iPhone, the S25 does a better job highlighting the buildings and trees. In terms of stabilization, both devices perform equally well, offering excellent results. The differences become more noticeable when recording with their ultra-wide cameras. The iPhone captures a wider frame, allowing more to fit into the shot. Its colors also stand out, with the sky and even the blocks on the ground looking much better on the iPhone. These factors make a clear difference. Similar results are observed when recording at 3x zoom. The iPhone delivers nicer colors, and in my opinion, its video looks more appealing overall. However, the S25 stands out in sharpness, thanks to its telephoto sensor. While the iPhone still does a good job retaining details, the S25 is the better performer in this area. Moving to low light, and from now on every picture is taken with night mode enabled, left in auto seconds. In this first sample I think there is no debate at all since the Galaxy S25 is much better. My face is sharper and my skin color is much more accurate since I don't really like that yellowish tone on the iPhone 16. In the next sample, light sources were limited and we can see a big difference in processing. The iPhone picture looks like it is taken with the flash enabled, while the picture taken with the S25 is more on par with how a night mode should work. Which one is better is up for discussion. When it comes to their main cameras, I think the S25 has an edge over the iPhone because it does a better job with details and light reflections. In this sample the iPhone doesn't look as sharp and some of the light sources like the blue one on top of the building are overexposed while they are perfectly preserved on the Galaxy. The iPhone 16 looks more natural while the S25 is brighter and sharper. I think here both implementations are great for the eyes, but in real life the results of the iPhone are more accurate. That night it was cloudy and this is only shown on the iPhone. On the S25 the sky looks blue and clear, which wasn't really the case. Like I said earlier, the Galaxy S25 shines when there are plenty of light sources in the frame like here, where its picture is superior compared to the one taken with the iPhone 16. The latter, just like earlier, suffers a bit more from the reflections. For the most part one would say that they are similar to each other, but in my opinion the S25 is a bit better. Its strengths are in details and in how it handles light sources. The iPhone images are usually a bit smoother and the presence of the night mood is presented better. When taking pictures with their ultra-wide cameras they are good, but they take a hit in terms of details. They don't have the improved ultra-wide cameras that are found on the Max and Ultra, so this is to be expected. Although they aren't as good, I think the iPhone takes a bigger hit in quality. Look at these samples for example. The S25 is still bright and most of the light sources are well preserved while the iPhone actually looks like a mid-range device. This doesn't mean that the Galaxy S25 is always superior, and in other places like this one, where the light sources are balanced the difference isn't as pronounced. Sure, the S25 still shows more details, but the iPhone isn't bad either. In other cases, such as this one, I actually prefer the iPhone 16. When I first saw this sample, I was surprised to see that the highlights here are better handled by the iPhone. This just shows that there isn't a clear winner, and although the S25 is better in more samples, the iPhone can surprise us sometimes. At 2x, both pictures remain perfectly usable, retaining great colors. However, the Galaxy S25 stands out by preserving more details, giving it an edge over the iPhone 16. At 3x, the S25 switches to its telephoto sensor, while the iPhone 16 relies on digital zoom. Naturally, the Galaxy S25 delivers better results, but the difference isn't as significant as you might expect, as the iPhone 16 performs surprisingly well in this scenario. In the next sample, once again at 2x, both devices produce fine images. The S25 captures detailed and color-accurate photos, whereas the iPhone 16 introduces a yellowish tint, making its image less precise and slightly less sharp. At 3x, the difference in detail becomes more pronounced. The S25 offers superior clarity but deviates from its usual color accuracy, producing an image that mimics the iPhone's less accurate color profile. In well-lit environments, portraits captured with these phones are impressive, showcasing vibrant colors and well-preserved details. Personally, in this scenario I prefer the iPhone, as the Galaxy S25 tends to make my face appear slightly over-sharpened. Just like in daylight, when the light source is positioned behind the subject, the iPhone struggles significantly. As you can see, there is a big difference between its picture and the one taken with the S25, with the latter being the clear winner. So, what do you think? Which phone was your winner? In my opinion, the Galaxy S25 performed slightly better overall. That said, the iPhone wasn't far behind, and as you saw, there were instances where the results went back and forth. If you did enjoy this video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and for more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel.